Strategic relocation, prepping, survivalism. Are you prepared to be on your own for an extended period of time, if necessary? Are you sure? A big part of being self-sufficient and self-reliant is being able to take care of yourself for an extended period of time. Do you have enough food? Things like that. And it might be surprising to think about it, but unless you've actually been through something, it's kind of hard to imagine what it might really be like. We might think, oh sure, we're all ready to go, but there's a lot of things that you just might be overlooking. And so things like having a pond with some fish in it, having chickens, those things are great, but we need to think about a lot of other things. Back when we lived on our sailboat, we were down on the Gulf Coast in the New Orleans area when Katrina happened, Hurricane Katrina. And where we were at, there were no gas stations for 3 weeks. I mean, no gasoline. So what do you do? How do you get anywhere? You couldn't leave if you wanted to. There was no electricity for 11 months, almost a full year. Now, we were on a sailboat. We had 70 gallons of water on the boat, and we had 80 gallons of diesel fuel, and we had months and months and months of food, and we could go somewhere on a sailboat. So we were, pretty prepared for that. But what do you do on your homestead? What do you do if you live somewhere where you're going to bug out? You got to make sure you got a full tank of gas and things like that. And then how far can you get if there's no gas stations open with gas, if there's no power, if the grocery stores have no food? What in the heck do you do? Economic doom, collapse of the society as we know it. There's only one thing to do. You need to donate money. Lots and lots of money to your favorite candidate in the Democratic Party. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Beto O'Rourke, can you believe it? Or even someone like Booker. It's really important or life will end as we know it. Donate your money. I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. Don't do that. So, when you're thinking about your strategic relocation, location where you're going to live, you got to think about things. If you live way up north, you're going to have to deal with a long, cold winter. If you live way in the south, you got to deal with the heat and the bugs and the, not having air conditioning if you have no power. And that's kind of, you think about things, and the weather might not be quite what you think either, because most people, if you think about the rainiest part of the country, people think about the Pacific Northwest, up there, Washington, Seattle and areas like that, when actually down south, Mobile, Alabama gets far more rain than the Northwest. It's actually raining right now. We're supposed to get 10 days of rain, 8 to 9 inches. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm hoping my camera doesn't die on me because I got it under a pine tree, but it's probably going to end up getting wet. So, you got to think about things like that. So having a pond with fish in it, having chickens where you can get eggs or the chickens if need be, and they forage in free range so they can feed themselves. We have guinea fowl too, and they're very wild. They can really take care of themselves. So, things like that. You have to be able to prepare for yourself. What happens if you can't leave, if there's no gasoline, if there's no electricity for an extended amount of time? What are you gonna do? Can you take care of yourself? Heating your house with firewood is one important thing to consider, so you're not reliant on the utility companies. So when you're thinking about where you want to live, where your location is going to be, those things are important. And I'm talking about disturbances to the system when a bad storm happens or some other kind of catastrophic event. I mean, if it really, if society collapses, it's not going to matter, because you could have all the food in the world and have solar panels and be all prepared, but when there's millions and millions of people that have nothing, you got to sleep. I mean, unless you have a fortress built, it's it's going to be kind of difficult. And that's one of the reasons we didn't stay on our sailboat when we started thinking about it, is a fiberglass boat out in the middle of the ocean going 5 miles an hour. Not much you can do for protections that way. So we thought we'd be, safer here on our homestead. And we're not doomsday preppers or anything like that. It's just common sense, like our ancestors, like our great-grandparents, living through the Depression and things. It's just being prepared to be self-sufficient and self-reliant, because, we want to be happy, fun-loving, and carefree and taking care of ourselves. But if you can't get to the store to buy groceries, can you feed yourself? If you can't even get gasoline for your car, are you going to be able to, take care of yourself? Do you have a horse maybe, or a bicycle, or some other kind of vehicle? So you might have to dust off the old bicycle to pump up some tires and have it ready to go. And we don't have horses or anything like that, but we're pretty good to go. Hey Bonnie, what you doing, girl? You're getting wet. Oh, my nose is itching in this rain. So, so think about those things. Think about where you want to live. Think about your own electricity. I was just reading an article the other day that said electric cars are good for preppers. Well, I mean, you got to charge the batteries. So, I guess if you have solar panels or a generator, but how do you run your generator? And eventually, if you run out of fuel. So think about those things when you're prepping. Think about where you're going to live. And, are you going to be able to take care of yourself for 1, 2, 3 months or whatever while things happen? And it's all about being prepared, living happy, fun-loving, and carefree, taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, taking care of all the things that need to be taken care of, having chickens, having dogs and cats, and, I don't know what they're good for, but at least they keep you company. And having a garden for your food where you can grow cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers and all the things that you like to eat or want to eat on your own, so you're not dependent on being in the grocery store for everything. So be prepared. Live happy, fun-loving, and carefree on your homestead. Pick a great place, whether it's up north where it's really cold or down south where it's really hot, where it's raining and we're going to be completely flooded in a few days. And we'll be wishing we had back on our sailboat, I think, in our property, because we're not going to be able to go anywhere for 2 or 3 days. So think about gasoline. Think about no groceries at all in the store for weeks, and so that you're prepared and know what to do when things don't go the way that you expect them to. All right. Happy, fun-loving, and carefree, living life, doing it yourself.